So, welcome to This Just In.
And it's grim.
All right, I'm going to get my notes pulled up real fast.
Oh, the cups! You got
The
yours.
cups. Yay!
Hey.
All right, cheers. Clink.
Cheers.
What are you drinking?
Tea.
Mm,
Yeah.
wow. I'm drinking root beer.
Was boring tea.
Good old beer, get started, know what I'm
There's a
saying?
little root beer in there. Just a little bit. I know we really should have started this off with a little something, you know what I mean? Something heavy.
Dude, we should have done shots. My God.
We should have done shots.
I'm a
Okay.
horrible alcoholic.
Okay, well, I guess let's talk about why we're here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess for me anyway, I want to start by saying thank you for going on this journey and starting this with me and seeing it through. It's been really enlightening, I would say. And it's been fun to connect back with you as frequently as we've been able to, for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess just to start, we've been friends for a while, for a long while.
Bit.
Just a few decades. And we've always collaborated creatively, I would say, throughout the years, whether it was our band or writing scripts for hopeful movies one day, or,
I still have all those, by the way.
I still have them. I think I still have
those. I still have those screenplays that we wrote back and forth.
That's awesome. I still have a ton of our lyrics,
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and like the original, so you could see all of our high school scratch. It's great. Yeah.
Nice.
And I think this was a way for us to do that again, to kind of collaborate creatively again. For me anyway, that was a big pull for this. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And for you?
Well, it's definitely something to do and pass the time, because sitting here feeling like you're just being surrounded by laundry and cooking and work and people be like, Mom, 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 Mama, Mama. And I'm like, shut up and leave me alone. I'm doing something.
I'm doing
researching
research.
cults. Children, leave me alone.
I know, now it's the excuse. Like, don't talk to me. I'm doing research now.
I got my bedroom door locked, and
Nice.
I got a note on the outside, do not disturb.
Nice, nice. I'm in the basement, so
throw something.
Yeah. So
are you in the creepy room?
No, I'm in the main part of the basement. So yeah. No, the creepy room is being used as storage right now.
Dang.
Or like there's like 10 or 12 costume boxes or like totes in there. I'll let you know though if we change that up.
Cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
so I guess the reprieve from our normal life is to dive into this gnarly SHIT.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we are spending hours bitching on the phone. Might as well record it and see if anybody else wants to join in, really.
I agree.
And listen to us bitch about random topics.
And
also talk about really interesting things that we didn't know.
Yeah.
And I like learning about new stuff. Yeah.
And also, I feel like currently I guess if this ever goes international, currently we're in America, so people should know that. We are Americans.
Yes.
And I think that right now, regardless of what kind of American you are, I think you could see that freedom of speech is being targeted.
Yes.
In a lot of different ways, whether it's online or, the news or television. So, I mean, why not step up now when it is being targeted and say, we're going to talk about this now?
Yeah, and factual history events being erased. Facts, scientific facts being ignored, history being erased. If I'm yelling, just let me know.
No, you're fine.
I can move this mic back.
No, you're fine.
It sounds kind of loud in my headphones, but I'm just like, I'll probably will be yelling throughout this shit, because it's fucking...
We're going to be yelling.
Dude.
There's going to be some raised tones, for sure.
And especially, like, even before we hopped on, like, more news.
Yeah.
More...
Yeah.
Dude,
I know. It's
fucking Ted Cruz.
What?
Fucking Ted Cruz, dude.
What? What did he do?
He's saying that we can't be censoring people like this. Like
Yeah,
freedom of speech is important.
it is
And
important.
I'm over here agreeing with Ted Cruz. Like what's
That's
happening?
ridiculous. But yeah,
Right? What is happening right now? Like every single day I just wake up and I want to slam my head in the door.
yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, cheers.
Cheers. On that note, let's talk
Yeah,
about cults.
absolutely. Yeah, so how about I get started with the trigger warnings? Okay.
Let's do it.
So
Let's go there.
this so basically our whole series that we're doing right now is all on cults, and we are starting off heavy with this first one with political cults. So, for trigger warning, hide your babies, hide your boomers. The trigger warning for this episode is political extremism, radicalization, hate speech, discrimination, conspiracy theories, violence, threats of violence, sexual misconduct, gender based harassment, psychological manipulation, family estrangement, pedophilia, rape, and religious manipulation.
Yeah, it's a list.
So, yeah,
It's a
yeah,
laundry list.
it's
Hmm.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we're gonna, yeah, go ahead. Keep going. You know.
So yeah, that is our trigger warning for this episode. There's probably going to be worse cults out there that we're going to be encountering and talking about, but this one is happening. It's happening right now, and it's really hard. It's hard for a lot of people. Families are being estranged.
And
There's just
yeah,
a lot going on for everybody.
yeah, it's unfolded into literal loss of life, you know. So
Yeah.
that's never a good thing. If you're at all a humanitarian, if you care at all about human beings, it's never a good thing. So it's a net
Yeah,
negative, I would
absolutely.
say, for it.
Yes, so
Yeah.
yeah. So, how about we start off with going into what a cult is, and then we can go from there, kind of figuring out how everything is kind of fitting in. And if you are maybe not on the side of agreeing with what we're saying. Hopefully, by the time you finish listening, maybe we can have you convinced. And if you disagree, we want to hear from you anyways. Like, I don't want you to think that just because we might be on one side or the other, that we are not open for discussion. We are open for discussion with anybody who is willing to have a civil conversation. We are not radicalized in any way. We can have our opinions changed. We are very passionate about our opinions, quite passionate about our opinions and our beliefs. And, I kind of feel like we are in the right here
I think so.
wholeheartedly.
I do too.
But I can definitely see why these people are so influenced and so,
Sure,
like,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to take it away with what a cult is?
Yeah, I will. So, yeah, like Amy said, we're covering cults in this series, and cults come in all flavors, apparently. And cults can be defined in a ton of different ways, which is also why it's really hard to get the language around cult into literal legislation or anything because cult can mean so many different things. So even the experts haven't really narrowed it down. I mean, I found at least four different definitions when I was looking this stuff up from like four different very reputable sources that define things.
Yeah.
So to me, it's going to be hard to nail an exact definition, but this is the more general broad definition that I found, and this is according to Merriam-Webster dictionary. So
Yes.
it defines cult as a great devotion to a person, idea, object, movement, or work. So
Okay.
that is just a general term for cult, a broad definition of cult. So you could be in a cult of the Dallas Cowboys because you're a big fan of the Dallas Cowboys. You never miss
Mm,
a game. You're never going to switch to another team. You're always going to show up in your sports gear. And people could say you're in a cult. You're very devoted to the Dallas Cowboys. It doesn't make it
hmm
destructive. Does it make it a cult? Kind of, just like a Swiftie might be, you know,
I was just
the
about to
way that
say,
she's, he or she is, or whoever is into Taylor Swift. That's a
yeah,
cult of Taylor Swift. I mean, is it destructive? No. Is it a cult? By definition, it is, you know.
yeah.
But those aren't technically the cults we're going to be discussing here.
Mhm.
So we're going to be discussing destructive cults, which can take a lot of different forms. They can come with a religious background, they can be political in nature, and they can be other spiritual in nature as well.
Mhm.
So, they can be based in Christianity or Mormonism, different religions of that, but they can also be based in the belief in celestial beings and UFOs. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, there's quite a few different kinds of cults, but some of the more destructive ones are doomsday cults, right? So that's
Yeah.
like your people's temple. Those are where there is a charismatic figure at the top, and they're convincing a group of people that the world is going to end in some way or there's going to be some catastrophe. And they
Yeah.
need to do extreme things to either save themselves or, be elevated to a higher level when somebody comes to earth to save them or whatever the
Yeah.
typical thing is. So those, I think that's what people think about when they think of destructive cults. They're probably thinking of like Jim Jones or Charles Manson and the family.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
political cults are almost just as prevalent in our society and in the world, in all different countries, in all different kinds of politics and governments. And, they're just as destructive as we can see. Like
Yeah.
the cult of Nazi Germany.
Mhm.
It can swing that extreme. Okay, so a dangerous cult, which I'm lifting the definition according to Michael Langone, who's a psychologist and he's an expert in behaviors around people who follow cults.
Mhm.
And he puts it forward as a group or movement exhibiting a great or excessive devotion or dedication to some person, idea, or thing, and employing unethically manipulative techniques or persuasion and control designed to advance the goals of the group's leader to the actual or possible detriment of members, their families, or the community. So
Mhm.
basically, it is someone holding a lot of power and manipulating or controlling information in some way to get their means, their ends met
Yeah.
off of the backs of their followers, whether their followers know what those ends look like or not. It's about the manipulation piece of it, and that's where the dangerous piece comes in, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
So as far as political cults go, they're a lot of times referred to as a cult of personality.
Mm.
So a lot of times instead of saying like this is a political cult, you'll say, "Oh, this person has a cult of personality." And that's how it's usually written in like media sources and things like that or defining articles. It'll be written that way. And basically the criteria for a cult is a charismatic leader, and that doesn't have to be charismatic to you or me. That's just charismatic to obviously their foundation, their members, the people that look to them.
Yeah.
If there's isolation amongst the members, it's a telltale sign of a cult. If the members of the cult or the information that either leaves the cult or comes into the cult is manipulated or controlled by one or few people at the top, that's a sign. And then has any harm been done, whether it's to the followers or it's to their family or to the community at large? Has there been actual harm done? And if you follow those against any group, you can tell generally if it's a cult and if in that it's a dangerous cult as well.
Yeah.
So that's my basic definition into like cults, defining cults, and the differences between just, oh, this is a broad cult, but this is a destructive, dangerous cult. This is what we're speaking
Mhm.
of now. And when
Yeah.
we talk about this specific political cult, which is the cult of MAGA, we have put it up against the model and do consider it a destructive cult based on
Yeah,
those defining factors. So,
absolutely.
yeah. So, with that, the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, we think MAGA's a cult.
Yeah,
Yes,
I do too.
and I feel like we have some pretty good points here. So,
I think
starting
so.
off, I'm aware the specific topic, very subjective. Okay. Those who are in it, they're not going to feel like they're really in it, as well as many other cults. Okay. So, very much like other cults throughout history, those who are in it, they believe wholehearted in their ideals. So, to those who are not in it, they are looking from the outside in, have a hard time seeing what the members are seeing. So, is there a charismatic leader for starting off? I believe Donald Trump is a charismatic leader. I really do. Am I a fan of the guy? I'm not a fan of the guy. But to those who are a fan of him, he can do no wrong, really. Like in their eyes, that he could, and he has said, quote, I could go and shoot somebody dead in the street
Hmm.
and they would still love me. He has said this. And it's been it's been very true. So it's been not that he has shot somebody, but he has done a lot of crazy things, said a lot of crazy things, and people are still very much on his side. And I feel like that is something that people really appreciate about him is that, oh, he just says it like he is. And I feel like for a politician, I feel like that's not really something that you should admire about them, really, because it feels like we're living in like a bizarro world, okay?
Hmm. Yeah.
So he has this persona of a self-made billionaire. He tells it like it is. That's deeply appealing to his supporters. And I'm sure that it feels very comforting to them to have somebody there that is kind of like talks, behaves like they do. And talks in a way that they can understand. He said it himself that smart people don't like him. So it's not really, I'm not saying anything new here. Okay?
Yeah, and to me, just because you're brash does not make you honest.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can be a loud liar,
Yeah,
you know?
100%. Absolutely.
So just because he's direct
Hmm.
does not necessarily equate to honest, you
Yeah,
know.
he uses simple, repetitive slogans that is also very appealing to certain people. His followers interpret his bluntness as norm breaking and refusal to apologize. It's all part of his persona that he has. He said in one speech at the Republican National Convention, he said in 2016, and I feel like this is really powerful, so that's why I have it up here, is that he said, I alone can fix this. And I feel like that's really powerful because he's giving the illusion that he's the only one that can really like pull America out of the hole that it's in. And that's not true. That's really not true. Like, I'm sure where they are at in their journey, maybe they think that he's doing a wonderful job. That's perfectly fine. That's their thing. But I feel like saying things like that, and we're going to go through actually a lot of things that he's said that is very
Yeah,
dangerous,
it
in my
is.
opinion,
Yeah.
kind of like embodying how do I say that? Embodying like all knowing being, like he's the, like, kind of
It's
like
it's it's a
the
godlike, it's a
savior,
demagogue
the
figure.
godlike figure. So, savior archetype type. So,
Hmm.
going into more of the characteristics of a cult, are the followers isolated? And we've talked about this many times that a lot of the really like deep, deep in people are surrounded by others who are really deep into that belief. And they maybe are living in an area where those are all the people that they come in contact with. Maybe the colleges that they go to, if they are going to college, who knows? Maybe they do. I'm sure they do. I'm being an
Well,
asshole. Sorry.
there's been an attack on education with this administration. They actively attack
Right off the
education.
fucking bat. Yeah.
And it's like, so which
Ugh.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm not trying to break your
No, go for it.
concentration in this. But
Let's go back and forth. It's perfectly
yeah,
fine. Yeah.
because that's literally in the playbook of every dictator that's
Hmm.
ever been established, that's ever gotten to a position of power. One of the very first things they do is attack
Hmm.
educational institutions because that's the way they control free thinkers and information. And they attack the scholars and the intellects. Like that's the first thing they go for. So,
Hmm.
if they can, because if they can control that information, it's one of the keys to being in a cult. It's also one of the keys to holding power and maintaining power
Yeah.
over people. So, you know,
Yeah,
there's
and not just that, like we're also losing freedom of speech right now. There's a lot of like basically anybody who is going against them, they are being fired, they're being taken off the air,
or
and
being shot.
yeah, are being shot.
Whether
Absolutely.
you agree or disagree with someone, freedom of speech protects that person's right to say things publicly.
Yeah,
You can't
I
just go
know.
around shooting people because you don't like what they say.
Yeah,
Period. You know.
I know.
But this is what polarization does.
Yes.
This is what it does to a country, in my opinion. You know.
And this is both sides of the aisle in case you haven't picked up
100%.
on that. We're talking about either side.
Yeah.
We
It's
all
not okay.
should be able to sit and talk and discuss our opinions and agree to disagree and move on from there. I mean, when it comes down to it, like we have seen when our nation has been under attack, we come together still. It doesn't matter Republican, Democrat. It doesn't matter what
No.
religion. We
Never
still
forget
have
9/11, baby. Never forget
exactly.
9/11,
We will
right?
have each other's back. You see when there's fires, you see when there's hurricanes, you see when
Mm-hmm.
there's fucking floods.
It's true.
We have each other's back. And I will. Like, I'll fucking save a Republican's life. Like,
Sure.
if somebody gets, like, hit by a car, gets shot, like, I'm going to help you. It doesn't matter.
I have a
And
duty to.
yeah,
I literally
absolutely.
do. Yeah, it goes against everything when it doesn't matter which side it is. Personally, and I'm sure you feel this way too. When you see something violent or physical in any way happen across the aisle, regardless of who is perpetrating it and who is the victim of that, it goes against everything that you think of when you think of free speech. And when you think of debating topics, you don't instantly go to violence because that is extreme and that's not the way that we do it in this country.
Yeah,
And I don't
yeah,
want that to be the norm, you know?
I know.
And that's scary.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, even whenever like our president's life was in jeopardy, like that's still not right. It's still not okay. Anybody who was cheering on, like, hey, I wish the bullet was just like and half an inch to the
No,
right or to the
not
left. I'm
okay.
like,
And you know
it's
why?
it's not
Because
okay.
cheering for, especially, and I'm going to clap it to Democrats about this,
Hmm.
especially if you want serious gun reform in this country, the last thing you do is make fun or make light of gun violence in any way,
Yeah,
ever.
yeah,
That's my opinion on it.
absolutely. Yeah. No,
So,
I've this week alone I've blocked 3 friends,
yeah.
and they're all Democrats.
Yeah, it
I
happens.
didn't I didn't block my Republican family
Hey, man,
because they
shitty,
weren't
shitty.
saying anything. Yeah,
Yeah, shitty, shitty.
exactly. Shitty, shitty. But yeah, going back to our list of characters. Okay, so followers being isolated, especially now with like the censorship and the freedom of speech being on blast. Like I feel like even more like whenever we started writing this, it felt like it felt like so much has changed even from when we started
Yeah,
writing this,
I
dude.
agree. So much has
Like
happened.
so much happens like every day, every week. Like I mean, since we
It's a
started
daily,
writing
yeah.
that, like Charlie Kirk's been assassinated. a whole bunch of people have lost their jobs because of that, because they can't keep their mouths shut. Like, you're an adult
Like one.
and you're saying, yeah, like, we all need to learn how to, like, hey, like, maybe me and you, when we have our private conversations, we'll say maybe the deepest, darkest thoughts, because this is a trusted person. Are we
Right.
going to post online?
No.
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 What is wrong with you guys? Like,
Well, and then we've had a homeless camps get shot up, and then
oh,
that tried to get politicized. Jimmy Kimmel got fired because,
yeah.
and can I be honest? I saw the
Mhm.
clip. I watched it. I
I
saw
saw
it.
it too.
I was not that offended. Not, I wasn't. And
Yeah.
I'm offended by people being rude about political violence. And I just
Yeah.
thought, he said what he said, and it kind of rang across the board of what a lot of people were saying
Yeah.
in the politically correct landscape.
Yeah.
So, also, First Amendment protects him. He's allowed to say it.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. But the company that he works for, they
yeah,
are really busy with their tongue inside Donald Trump's property. But that's just what I'm assuming is
that's what
happening right
I
there.
heard some.
I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe,
But
maybe.
the thing is that just like what I just said, freedom of speech. Okay.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
and
And
not
that,
only
that
that,
freedom
like
does not, yeah.
Charlie Kirk, he was a very big advocate of freedom of speech. And like even the South Park episode about him, like he fucking loved it.
Hmm.
Like he laughed at a lot of things that were like I didn't follow him, okay? I don't know a lot about him,
Yeah.
but I'm just
Yeah.
saying the clips that I have seen since his passing of him having a really good sense of humor and being able to take jokes. And I really like I remember even the vice president saying some things about like, people can't even joke anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
guess that's I
yeah. And
know.
like the things that Charlie Kirk stood for and the things that he stands for or, stood for,
Yeah,
the things that he believed in, to me, a lot of them were abhorrent. I will say that. And I will
absolutely.
say the things that he said weren't great to me, but that's where that ends.
Yeah.
Like, that's where that discourse of that ends for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't mean that I'm going to take up arms about it. That doesn't mean that I'm going to, you know, do anything besides sit here and talk to you about it briefly through this
Yeah.
cult episode, because it is relevant and it is very recent that it happened.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I feel like whenever you get somebody out in the world talking to other people, it's something magical happens and their mind gets opened up to new ideas and new things and new foods and new
Hmm.
experiences and new music
Yeah.
and movies, and something happens to people like whenever you just get out of where you are from,
Uh,
whenever you are, isolated, and maybe like parents are trying to shelter their children, and like I'm trying to shelter my children from the evil in the world. I'm not trying to shelter them from new experiences and, like meeting new people and learning about different religions. Like I didn't bring my children up on religions, and it's not like I am going to like keep them from them. And if any like either of my kids they want to go and learn about different religions, like I'm very interested by religions. Like I will research them all day and just be enthralled. But whenever you are, I'm going to use the bad word, indoctrinated, and you grew up, just having this stuff just poured in your ear holes, like,
mhm.
like this thick goop syrup just being poured in, where it's just like, these people are bad, those people are bad, these people are stupid, their genetics make them inferior, and things like that. It's just,
Yeah.
it's really hard to fix that, to change that. And whenever these people get out, and this is just from any cult, they have to undo so much
Sure.
and try to fix their entire existence and their entire lives, and it's really, really hard. And
Yeah.
like the guy that you were telling me about, Stephen Hassan, his work is incredible. So it really is. So anytime you want to.
Highly,
Oh, actually,
highly
the next one I
suggest.
think it has. Yeah, the
Yeah.
next note it has him on there. So
Good.
are followers controlled, coerced, or deceived by the leader or ideal, and how? So, followers being controlled, coerced, or deceived. So, from what I wrote down, MAGA uses psychological control and coercion. And bringing into what Stephen Hassan was talking about in his podcast, it's a lot. It
So yeah,
really is a lot.
I'll pipe in for a minute. I think
Yeah, for
I
sure.
got some. So it's definitely, so the information, is it being controlled? Absolutely. We can use our common sense to know that it's controlled on both sides of the aisle. It is. I mean,
Hmm.
it's very obvious in the way that if you watch, Fox News compared to
Oh my God, it's
MSNBC or something, or
yeah.
what, CNN or whatever, something on the other
Yeah,
side of the
I don't
aisle.
listen. I don't watch enough
I
news to
don't
really
watch
know,
either of them,
but
honestly. I prefer to get my news in other ways, but you can just see that it's so differently being filtered, right? That's
yeah,
obvious.
yeah,
So to me, is there is control of information happening on both sides of the aisle.
absolutely.
Yeah, but how it applies to the MAGA, the cult of MAGA, or MAGA, how it applies to that side is that the information was actually found evident, like in evidence. Like there's evidence that it was being manipulated to further, his campaign. And I think that the big part too is the message behind the information that's being controlled is probably a big
Hmm.
takeaway of that as well. So
Yeah,
if the Democrats are telling the country or whoever's watching, or they're controlling the news or information, and
hmm,
they're telling the country, hey, the water is, let's say this is what they're trying to push out. The drinking water is bad in the United States. Everyone needs to get a test, a testing system in their house to check the water, right? Now
yeah,
that, let's say it's a lie. Well, that's horrible. Now you're making all these people pay extra money that they don't have to install a system that they don't need to drink water
hmm,
that's not even bad. That's awful. But then on the other side, example, hey guys, the water's really bad in the country right now. You can't drink it. So why don't you go find the people that made the water bad and kill them? It's different. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's extreme on one side, a lot more than not, you know?
yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's a big key of it too. It's not just the information, but it's the content, and it's also what it's being used for. Is it
Hmm.
being used to further a personal agenda, or is it being used to help people in the long run, or help more people than just one person in the long run?
Yeah. I feel like there is a good amount of, you know, peer pressure as well. Because if
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about like the isolation key and bringing that on into the control and the coercion and the deception, and I feel like it really does go hand in hand. Attending rallies, wearing the merch, like you feel like you're really part of something. And I feel like that really
Yeah.
it really means something to them. And also, there's a whole bunch of fear that goes into it. The fear of, maybe their feelings, their insecurities. Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all kind of know that Grinder goes down during the RNCs, I
Sure.
mean, it is what it is, okay? I just
Well,
want you to know over here, you're all good. All
yeah.
right. You
Yeah.
can you can do whatever you want with your butt over here, okay?
Yeah,
No one's
sure.
gonna care.
Yeah, nobody
All
cares.
right.
We
No
don't care.
shame in the game, okay?
Well, and that's the thing is I think that what happened, if I'm going to guess, I think that you had a whole bunch of people in this country. This is at the beginning, the first time he well, no, not the first time he campaigned. The 2015 campaign into the 2016 election,
Yeah,
right? You had a lot of people that just plumb did not understand our government and at the very least definitely did not feel connected to our government, did not feel like our
yeah,
government was working for them. So when you have someone, you already have a country that already has like a low kind of belief in a system, and then you have somebody that comes in, sweeps in, if you will, and makes all these huge promises. I mean, that's something to latch onto, is it not?
absolutely. Yeah, no, it absolutely is.
So,
And there's not one president that has, or anyone that has run for president that I've been like, this person is going to solve all of our problems.
no, none of them will.
Not a single one have I
No,
thought that.
no.
The only votes that I've given is to people who I think might have the best chance of doing something.
Sure.
Literally anything.
Yeah.
And that is it. So the fact that people are thinking that he is like our savior, he's going to fix everything, that the second he stepped into the White House, everything changed. That the
Mm-hmm.
world was so much better. That all of a sudden, if the gas goes down 1 cent, oh, praise God, praise Trump, he's the
Yeah.
best. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, I'm gonna tell you this right now. The prices of eggs went down when he got in, but as a chef, I know why that happened. Okay? And it had nothing to do with him, and it had everything to do with the avian flu. Okay? It was not Trump. It was not. Okay? And it has those ups and downs, just like whenever there's storms in California and all of their crops are going out because they weren't expecting it. And then the price of the microgreens and the mesclun mixes are going up and going out of crazy, all crazy. Happens, okay? It's not him, and it's insane to think that he has that much weight and that he can fix so many things.
Yeah.
So also the fear going into about the immigrants, the fear mongering about these immigrants, and now all of these ICE raids that are happening, and it is
Mm-hmm.
not the criminals like they said.
No.
They're going to schools, they're going to places of employment, they're going to just on the street. Like, they're finding anybody. And it doesn't matter if they have a current case open that they're working towards, it doesn't matter to them.
No,
And
this is like before when I said like it's in the dictator's playbook. This is as well.
yeah,
Skip 2 steps after number one, and this is exactly what it is. Like I looked a lot into Mussolini for this episode. Like I
wow.
studied Mussolini and like it's almost step by step. It's the parallels are unbelievable of what's going on right now.
Yeah,
So you want
yeah,
to know
absolutely.
why he keeps getting called a fascist? Well, maybe he should stop walking in the footsteps of Mussolini. Maybe that. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And the labeling of anything that is critical to him is fake news.
Yeah.
Okay, everything.
Which is
I
also a
tried.
playbook for cult leaders because you want them to question reality and question the truth.
Yeah,
Of course. Of course.
absolutely. And I mean, when it comes down to it, like, I feel a certain way about things that I'm not a direct part of. I try to remain neutral, be like, if I'm not seeing things with my own bare eyes, I try to just say, okay, well, I heard this and I heard this and I read this, and just make my opinions based off of facts. He doesn't do that. A lot of people don't do that. Anything that he says, they take as the God's honest truth, that he would never lie. And anything that is opposed to him is just flat out wrong.
Yeah, I mean, even when you talk to a lot of the people who follow Donald Trump and vote for Donald Trump and are have the red caps on and are doing the thing, you can't scrutinize him to them. You notice that? It's a very
Hmm.
common thread.
Yeah.
At least the ones I've spoken to. You cannot, if you ask them, right? I mean, any politician, whether even if like Obama, even if you liked Obama, sure, if you thought about it, you could be like, I really didn't like when he did this, or I really didn't
Hmm.
like this policy, or I really didn't support this. Not going to find that on this side.
Yeah.
I've asked MAGA supporters that I know, that I have
Hmm.
access to have conversations with,
Yeah.
can you give me one thing you don't like about him? Just one? I mean, list anything. It could be the money to Stormy Daniels. It could be, I mean, that he never built your precious wall or whatever. Like, list
Yeah.
anything and it would be okay. Like, we can have a conversation, right?
Hmm.
They won't do it. They
Yeah.
won't do it. And there's a problem with that because, truth can be put up against scrutiny. Honesty can go up against scrutiny with no
Yeah.
issue. He cannot. And his
Hmm.
followers have a real hard time. I see them start to squirm and struggle.
Yeah.
That's a real strong, to me, like, sign of mind control. Like, it physically
Hmm.
causes you discomfort to think bad things about your leader. That's a
Yeah.
problem.
And I know. And I feel like if you were to ask any MAGA dad, okay, and imagine his beautiful, blonde, perfect little daughter, okay, and she brought home this guy, and this guy had been accused of rape. This guy had been accused of bad business deals. He's had some businesses go bankrupt. Banks won't loan him anything. He's been known to not pay his bills. That's just a few things, okay? He's had multiple divorces. He's cheated on his exes. That MAGA dad would kick that dude out of his house, tell his
Sure,
daughter, you're
sure.
not gonna be with my daughter, not my daughter. And yet they are worshiping this man. They are voting for this man repeatedly. And if anybody were introduced to them with the same rap sheet as this man,
Yeah,
they would be like, absolutely not. I don't want anything to do with that person. He sounds like a horrible person.
yeah.
Even if it is just rumors.
Mm-hmm. Right,
Even if it's just rumors. Like, it
right.
doesn't even have to be like actual fact. Like, we have quite a few of in this whole, ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
But it just blows my mind, really. Like, I feel like the control, the coercion, the deceit is very, very heavy. And it's
Yeah.
unfortunate that not enough people are really seeing. And until it smacks them personally right in the face, it doesn't matter. And I feel
No,
like that's
no.
one thing that is huge.
So,
A very, very big difference is that if it's not happening to them directly, it's not happening at all. Like, it's not,
so,
it's fake news. Yeah.
right. It doesn't matter. So here's real quick. I have
Mhm.
some direct quotes from him during his campaign. This is from 2015 until currently. So
Okay.
they're out of order, but these are things that I watched him say at a rally between
Hmm.
2015 and now. And
Okay.
that means that it was televised and a lot of his supporters were present at these rallies. Remember rallies. So
Yeah.
this is
The
what
biggest
he
the world's ever
said.
known.
Yeah, biggest ones. These are things he said in front of those people or,
Hmm.
being broadcast because I
Yeah.
saw them live. I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? That's one.
Yeah.
This just shows that when you got good ratings, you can say anything. That's another one. That is why a little hyperbole never hurts. People want to believe that something is the biggest, the greatest, and the most spectacular. The
You live
final
by that
key
one.
to the way I promote is bravado. I play to people's fantasies. I was saved, sent because At one, it was saved, and then the other one, it was sent. So
Mm.
twice he made this statement, but one time he said sent, one time he said saved. I was sent, saved by God to make America great again. Most people think small because most people are afraid of success and making decisions. And that gives people like me a great advantage.
Mm.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't see him as not only having this, if he knows what he's doing, is my point. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
by just those statements, he knows exactly what he's doing, and he knows exactly who he's fooling.
Mm-hmm.
You joke's on you.
Yeah.
Joke's on y'all, not us, y'all. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I have over here 2024 is the final battle. It's going to be the big one. You put me back in the White House. Their reign will be over and America will be free nation once again. March 25th, 2023, during a rally in Waco, Texas.
mm,
Yeah,
it's the same
I
rhetoric.
don't think I have the, yeah, I don't have the you'll never have to vote again line, but I do remember that one. Which, to be
Mhm.
completely honest, I mean, I don't know if his health would really allow him to run for a third term, but I don't know. I think if that happens, yeah, Canada, here I come. I don't know.
Well,
So
I mean,
for
we've already seen what happens when he leaves office. You know what I mean? Like, we know he kind of does it kicking and screaming, and
yeah,
he doesn't relinquish the power over in the way that we're accustomed to in this country, and also the way that our Constitution supports. Like, we
yeah,
don't have to we don't have to discuss this and like debate on if it was right or wrong. Constitutionally, we know it was wrong.
yeah,
Period. Like,
absolutely.
it says it in the Constitution what that transfer of power is supposed to look like and how
Hmm.
important it is. So I don't I we saw it for ourselves. Anybody that denies that at this point, I'm seriously questioning their mental capacity.
Absolutely.
You know.
So for number 4 on our list is information controlled by the cult, both external and internal, and in what ways? So for external, Trump has repeatedly called mainstream media enemy of the people, delegitimizing delegitimizing critical voices. And then for internal, I wrote down conspiracies, election fraud, QAnon,
That
reinforced
was
inside the community. So,
yeah. I got some stuff about QAnon. You want me to throw it your way?
yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. So QAnon is like, to me, let me think about this. QAnon is like, I don't know, it's like they're like super secret service, like so they're the most extreme of the extremes. You know what I mean? They work in the shadows. They're all online. They don't do anything in face to face because you know. But what they do, what QAnon is a group of people who have extreme right wing values. I'm just gonna say that
Hmm.
typically, and they latched on to Donald Trump during the 2015, 2016, you know, campaign election and started pushing out a lot of misinformation online about Hillary Clinton
Mm.
to try to sway voters over to Donald Trump's side. The original QAnon's original purpose though was Gamergate, which was when they were upset that girls were in video games, like playing video games and
Mm.
involved in the process, like getting jobs in the video game industry. And they
Huh.
wanted them out of there. No girls allowed in video games.
Mm.
So QAnon began as Gamergate, but they once they saw this Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and they knew this would probably be divisive because Donald Trump is a very kind of loud personality. You know what I mean? He's going to stir
Mm,
things up whether you agree or disagree with him. He's an interrupter for sure.
yeah.
So, of course, QAnon's like, let's jump on that bandwagon. We didn't win the girl thing because girls are still playing video games. You know what I mean? So, let's go to Pizzagate. Now,
Mm,
Pizzagate they came up with, and that is they spread a rumor online that there is a group of elite cabal Democrats, basically.
mm,
And they have child sex rings, pedophilia rings, if you will, that are also cannibalistic in nature in some circles of QAnon. And usually they some kind of sacrificial thing that they're doing with the children. Some of them believe that they're lizard people, some of them don't. They think that's way too crazy. They're not lizard people, they're just sacrificing and eating babies, right? Like in a really large scale, like big way. But the thing is that was believed so much that somebody took an AK and went down to a pizza place and shot it up, thinking that they were
wow.
going to find Hillary Clinton there and Bill Clinton eating babies, dude. That's a real thing. It really happened. That guy went to jail and everything.
Oh, wow.
And then Frazzle Drip, which Frazzle Drip was more of the Clinton stuff, more of like the Clinton involved in the babies and the pedophilia. So Pizzagate was that they were holding these places in pizza places, which is why he showed up at a pizza place. Frazzle Drip, which is another name,
Mm,
is
lovely.
also Hillary Clinton's involvement with the pedophile sex ring.
Mm,
So the reason that Trump gets pulled into all of this, online at least, is because these people believe in their heart of hearts that Donald Trump will save the children from the elite satanic pedophile ring.
mm,
They still claim this, by the way. I do some, undercover. I'm going online and trying to see what they're all talking about, especially for this episode. I had to do some digging. And they still are under the assumption that any day now, President Trump is going to expose the elites.
mm,
This is QAnon, by the way. I'm not saying that this is all Trump supporters. I understand that this is like very extreme sect within the MAGA universe, but
mhm.
they're there and they do count for something. You know what I mean? So they do believe that Donald Trump is going to save the children. And they have believed this all along. Like, this is kind of the start of this, and this is why they all jumped on Donald Trump. They were like, this guy, if anybody's going to do it, this guy is going to do it. He is going to save the babies, right? My question to them is, why didn't he do it day one? I would think that if babies being eaten and, you know, diddled by pedophiles, elite ones in the government, man, the second I get through that door, I'm going to kick down some doors and save those babies, right? So
Yeah.
he's not really the kind of man that gets things done then. Or there was never a sex ring. You make up your mind. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do here. You know what I mean? But that's it. That's QAnon in a nutshell. I mean, there's a lot more. They push through a lot of like
It's
anti-women,
highly religious,
anti-LGBTQ.
right?
Huh?
It's highly religious, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of them that definitely post things about Christ and how
Mm,
Christ chose Trump, and that RFK is like also a savior of some kind because he's part of the Kennedy family. I don't know. It gets muddled
mm,
because I they make I mean, yeah, okay, so they'll say like God or Christ in their stuff, but they're also like saying really like anti-Semitic stuff, or so how do those two things work? I don't know if they're really
mhm.
religious or really of faith, because I don't want to take that away from like good Christian people.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair, but like
Yeah.
a lot of them do.
Yeah, they only worship the white Jesus, not the brown one. So.
Right. That. Yeah. But a lot of them do have the like the religious rhetoric that goes along with it. But mostly at this point, and kind of along the way, pretty quickly actually, I did notice that like Donald Trump kind of turned into the Messiah for them in a way.
Yeah.
Like they love God and Jesus, but Donald Trump, since he's saving the world and he was sent here by God, he's might as well be the Messiah to them, sort of.
Mhm.
At least in some circles, of QAnon, I think. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, armed people did confront pizza shop owners over this. Just so you know, that did happen. That happened actually. Yeah.
I am wondering what rock I was under back then, how I didn't know about this. Yeah,
I watched the
I don't know.
documentary a long time ago, so like I kind of knew about this, so it wasn't that hard to dive back in. Plus, I have
Mm,
relations with people who may or may not be involved with that.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last thing I have on my list is social media algorithms intensifying this one section right here. So followers are being closed off to any other information. It's just brainwashing. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. My algorithms are also very much on the opposite side.
Same.
So much
Same.
so that I've had to unfollow a lot. And it's not that I don't want to know what's going on. I just want to be able to make better opinions. And whenever I am constantly being fed whatever it is that they want, I feel like I'm not making good informed opinions and
It's
decisions. And
hard.
so it is. It
Yeah,
really
can
is
we
like,
can we talk about that? Because I think that's something that's very interesting that at least I found, and I'm sure do you agree?
yeah,
Is over the course of researching for this episode, for other things, you and me we would talk about briefly talk about whatever the subject was we were going to get into. And we kind of go our separate ways, do our own research, and then come back together to note it out and then record it, right? Essentially. But we are coming back with sometimes wildly different information, which is
yeah,
interesting. I mean, it's apparent that it's the algorithm, but like it has been interesting to kind of find out what information you come back with and like how it either lines up or contrasts what I have, based on
yeah,
what we're finding. So that's been interesting. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. So for the next characteristic, has harm been done to any followers or by the followers against others connected to the ideals and the name of the leader? And this list is long. So the answer is yes. And we
The answer
have
is absolutely.
obviously we have experienced that this week alone. So like we haven't really gotten to the bottom of the whole reason as to why that guy shot Charlie Kirk. There's a lot of speculation, okay? And I am not knowledgeable enough about his deep upbringing and as far as like how he behaved in social like spaces because
Who
from
the
what I've
shooter?
heard, yes. So from what I've heard is that he was kind of deep into the incel like culture, but it's just a lot of speculation. And so I don't really want to say whether or not, but Charlie Kirk is a Trump follower. He was murdered. Okay, so this is harm to followers and it's hatred being spewed. And these are some results because of it. And not saying it's right, not saying that it was justified in any way. It definitely was not. But whenever you are creating this environment of just violence and hostility, and like we have been screaming for gun reform for so long, and it's like when is it going to happen? And I just don't know. I mean, I'm just going to start off by talking about January 6th and the attack on the Capitol. I mean, it was awful. It was probably the worst day in
Mm-hmm.
American like history. What I think about whenever I think about that is watching him in whatever white tent he was in, watching it all go down, him cheering these people on, him telling these people to fight like hell, repeatedly
Yep.
saying it's going to be a bloodbath.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's just, yeah. It's horrific. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to find where I wrote down what all happened there, but I know people did die. I know
Yeah.
people were arrested. I know that many people in law enforcement
Oh, I have it.
were injured. You have it?
Yeah,
It's
so yeah, January 2021, insurrection at the Capitol, Washington, D.C. It left 6 dead and 174 injured.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And not just that, but
There's probably still people to this day that are in jail because of it.
I think
And
most of them have been
I mean,
pardoned.
I think a lot of them have been pardoned, but it's
Yeah.
just,
Um, no, and I think that what it was for me was I remember it. Like I remember it. You know, it's kind
yeah,
of like I remember where I was when 9/11 happened. I remember where I was when Columbine happened. You know, there's these
yeah,
things in our history that I think just stop you in your life for a moment and
yeah,
you'll never forget like where you were, what was going on around you, you know, whatever it was at that time. And I feel very strongly that January 6th, personally for me, will also be one of those days that I never forget.
yeah.
Because when I was standing in my living room watching it, and I think I called you that day frantic, right? Where I was just like, don't go into any capital, like, don't go into any capital cities, like, don't let your kids go to any capital cities. I was freaking out.
Mhm.
Because when I looked at my house, I looked at my home, and I saw all of everything I had to protect. Everything. My home, my
Yeah.
family, you know, everything that I had, even my dogs, you know, every little
Mhm.
thing that I had to think about, worry about, was responsible for. To see democracy being attempted to be torn down was devastating.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, I can't, it's devastating. It
I
was
mean, just the
devastating.
vision alone
Yeah.
is like we have such a vision of the White House being, and it's just like the appearance alone. Like it's very like I'm sentimental. Okay, that's our capital. That's the White House. That's where our president stays while they are in office. Okay, it's very symbolic to Americans, and then to see it being ravaged by people, and it was really hard to watch.
Yeah.
And the violence that happened, and just the cheering on from Trump was like it was something else. It really was. But I do want to talk
Well,
about
and
the
not having not it's weird to me that the National Guard wasn't
yeah,
sent there for a really long time, right? If it was at all or it never was, I don't remember. Can't remember right this second anyway.
yeah.
But then they've been posted up. We're not in wartime right now, and they've been
I
posted
know
up.
they're so bored. They're like landscaping right now. So whatever. Yeah. But hate
Democracy.
crimes, I know, right? So hate crimes nationwide increased 4.6% since
Hmm.
2016. So um there was studies at Southern Poverty Law Center documents 867 hate-related incidents against minorities, immigrants within just 10 days following the election. So, yeah. So this is still on the harm by followers. We will
Hmm.
get to the section where there's harm to followers, okay? There's two different sides to this. Hate crime incidents doubled from 2015 to 2024. So there was roughly 5,800 cases, and then it was
Wow.
11,679 reported cases.
Wow.
Yeah, so anti-Black hate crimes, 81%, anti-Jewish hate crimes, 212%, anti-gay male hate crimes up 68%. So in 2022, hate crimes against transgender, gender nonconforming individuals rose nearly 33%. So this is all online. We are posting all of our sources. We are not just spouting facts, pulling stuff out of our butts.
No,
Okay.
we got our
We
sources.
have been, yeah, we will post our sources. We will post our transcript. This is very serious, especially because we have families that are in the
Yeah.
LGBTQ family, and we have family members who are immigrants. We have
Hmm.
family members who are disabled. We have family members who are really in need of government support. And
Yeah. And
this
protection,
has
you know,
been, yeah,
like certain, just not certain groups, everyone. I think I really do believe that everyone that's standing on US soil right now has the right to be protected.
yeah,
At least be safe. What else if not, if we don't care about the health and safety of other human beings, then what are we really? What are we even doing? What's the point of any of this, you
yeah,
know? And that doesn't
I know.
mean taking them out by the busloads and sending them off by boat and then killing them. That doesn't mean separating them
Yeah.
from their families. That doesn't mean shooting them when they're on a college campus. That does not
Mhm.
mean murdering them in their homes. You know, it's gotten so out out of line, and
Yeah.
I really, in my heart of hearts, believe that this is what we get when we have a cult leader that's also a fascist masking as our president. This is
Yeah.
what we get. So this just will continue as long as he will continue. This will continue. And
Yeah.
that's what bothers me the most. Is it's real
Mhm.
loss of life here. It's not, I mean, we all know that at this point. And yet
Yeah.
we're still so divided. And that's
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So the harm to followers have people donated so much money to him and his campaign. They are,
Yeah.
from what I've heard, they're still getting emails asking for money and text messages asking for money. Okay. And probably one of the only things that I was appreciative of was Donald Trump not taking a salary. So there is verified proof that he did donate his salary. I did do some research on that. Okay, so he
Good on you,
is,
Don John.
yeah, he followed through. He did receive it, but then he donated it. Okay. There isn't much for this term, but it was definitely for his last term. But the amount of money that followers were giving, it was harmful to them. And if he really had the backing of so many rich people that had his back, you think that he wouldn't be begging for money from basic people around the country, and they're just emptying their pockets, and he's like
Hmm.
sending waves. And I signed up for those emails, by the way, so I saw them when they'd come out, and it was like, hey, we need another round of support for this, another round of support for that, and you got
Hmm.
to dig deep and this and that. It's like, it was bizarre.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, for another thing that I wrote down for harm to followers, family estrangement is huge. So people are not dealing well with the polarization. I feel like there's a lot of fear mongering. And when it comes down to this whole thing, I really do feel like media is at the heart of this deep polarization. And it's something that they are constantly feeding into. And the more that you consume the media, the more that you buy into everything that's going on, the more scared you are, the more you're lashing out at people. And it's dangerous. It really is. And we all should be trying to work together and come up with uh you know anything that you can just like find something to agree on,
Yeah.
literally anything, and kind of go from there, and try not to just cut people off if they're breaking boundaries, if they
Sure.
are making your life hell. Obviously, you have to be like, look, this is my peace, this is my happiness,
Yeah.
and if you don't want to be a part of it, then you're just going to have to go and be
Hmm.
super pissed off somewhere else, you know?
Yeah, and if you really care about somebody and they're like in this kind of cycle of, Fox News and MAGA on Twitter and all of these other figureheads in this movement or whatever, if
Yeah.
you get into that cycle, if you know somebody that's in that cycle and they can't break away from it, the last thing that you need to do is attack them
Yeah.
because that's just going to push them further in. You really truly have to treat it like any other cult, any other destructive cult. You have to ask questions that make them critically think, make them look at their own reasoning. You have to, and be empathetic and be
Yeah.
patient and be understanding and come from a place of genuine care about this person if you do care about the relationship with that person.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just fighting with them and telling them, you're wrong and why can't you see it? Why can't you see this? It's really only gonna force them further in.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then I found where I wrote down about the January 6th. So
Yeah.
140 law enforcement officers were assaulted.
Uh,
So you said 6 people died, I believe, and several officers later reportedly died by suicide after.
yep. Yeah. That six. I'm not counting the after. This is day
Yeah,
of 6.
yeah, absolutely. So, highlighting the emotional and physical toll on both sides, really, it was a lot. And I hope that anyone on that side or either side can just come together and say that that was horrific and hopefully that never happens again.
Yeah. It
I
shouldn't happen.
just, yeah, no.
It
So the
shouldn't.
next thing,
Constitutionally, it shouldn't. It's not a question. It's not up for debate. Like that's just not the way we do it here. So,
yeah, so I kind of wanted to highlight real fast quotes from Trump inciting violence. And these are all actual quotes. I have all the sources. So, October 31st, Trump said of former U.S. Representative Liz Cheney, she's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her. Okay, let's see how she feels about it when the guns are trained on her face. So yeah, I don't know much about Liz Cheney. Okay, but I believe she was on his side, right? Do you remember?
I don't. I mean, just know she's no. I don't know because I don't.
Yeah, I'm
Because
trying
it's
to
hard for me
remember,
to
but
tell which Republicans support him and which don't because there's
yeah,
been so much flip flopping. You know what I mean? Sometimes they do,
yeah,
sometimes they don't.
absolutely. So another one, these thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let that happen. Just spoke to Governor Tim Walz and told him that the military is with him all the way. Any difficulty, and we will assume control. But when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you. And that was a tweet from Trump shortly before 1 a.m. Friday. So I didn't write the actual date on there, but that was quoted quite often. When the looting starts, the shooting starts. And I am a big supporter of peaceful protest. Anything that happens, damage to property and harm to people, I am not in support of in any way. I do believe that if anybody is caught looting, they need to be arrested and charged. But I do not think that they need to be shot dead in the street. But I do believe that if a store owner happens to be at their store and someone is breaking in, they do have the right to defend their property.
Sure,
So
they
those
sure
are my
do.
beliefs.
Yeah.
January 2016, he said, I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and wouldn't lose voters. So we've said that a couple times already. Get smart Republicans, fight. This was January 6th, 2021, in a tweet before the election certification took place. This is an act so egregious that in times gone by, the punishment would have been death. September 22nd, 2023, on Truth Social, suggesting that General Mark Miley, then the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, should be executed. Yeah. Another one. They're poisoning the blood of our country. December 16th, 2023, referring to illegal immigrants in the New Hampshire rally. And for the last one, and I'm sure there's more, but if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the country. March 16th, 2024, during a speech at the U.S. Auto Manufacturing District in Ohio. So Trump's campaign later said that he was referring to a bloodbath for the automaker industry, supposedly, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay, allegedly. So, yeah, those are my quotes of him inciting violence.
And do you want to, if you want, I can go through the list of what verbal incitement of violence gets you along the way, because I do have that list.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
so in 2015, there were two mass shootings, one at a church, one at a Planned Parenthood. 16, there was an assassination attempt on Trump in Nevada. There was a shooting in North Carolina, one dead. There was Democratic and the Republican headquarters in Nevada and Arizona, respectively, were vandalized, shot at.
Yeah.
And in fact, the Democratic headquarters in Arizona were shot at 3 separate times all the way into 2017.
Wow.
There were 1, 2, 3 other shootings in 2017 over political violence. There were 2 stabbings in 2017 over political violence stabbings. There was also in 2017 one vehicular homicide at a protest.
Mm. Yeah.
The synagogue shooting in Pennsylvania was in 2018. And also 16 pipe bombs were mailed to Democratic representatives in 2018. In 2019, we had another synagogue shooting, Gilroy Festival shooting in California, Walmart shooting in El Paso, Texas. And in 2020, we had a shooting of a judge, shooting at a protest in Oregon, another shooting in Oregon that left 1 dead. Another shooting in Wisconsin that left 2 dead, and a plot to kidnap a governor of Michigan. Yeah, like FBI swooped in and thwarted it before it got out of hand. But
Holy shit.
that was going on. In 2021, only one, but it was a big one, the insurrection on the Capitol. And then in 2022, there was an assassination attempt on Kavanaugh, and there was an attack on Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's husband.
That's right.
And also the Q nightclub shooting was in 2022. In 2024, there were not 1, but 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump. And in 2025, already, we have had arson of a representative's home. Nobody got hurt, but they were gone when it happened. Or no, they were there, but they got out. Anyway, arson, no casualties. And then the shooting in Minnesota, and that left 2 dead with 2 other injured. That was in June. There was a Catholic school shooting, and then of course the Charlie Kirk shooting that happened in Utah. So, and by the way, these are all perpetuated by both sides. This isn't
Yes.
all Democrats or all Republicans. This is a mixed bag, and I did not say who did what for a reason, because I don't think that separating further does any good. But this is what that rhetoric gets you. This is what it does. This is what violent rhetoric gets you. It gets people that go out and do violence. And that if that's
Yeah.
not proof of it, I don't know what more you need.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is a lot. So after hearing this long list of everything that has happened, I know that it might feel, I mean, depending on what side you are on, you might be feeling that we are maybe full of shit, that
Hmm.
we are just two dumb libs just bitching about stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
These women need
There's
to shut their mouth.
We need to go back into the kitchen,
Right.
you
Make a
know,
sandwich.
yeah, make me a sandwich, shut the fuck up, all of that good stuff. And it's nothing that we haven't already heard in our lives. If you do feel the need to spew hatred at us, I just want you to know you're gonna have to try really hard to
Yeah.
hurt our feelings. Sorry.
Yeah.
At least make it funny. That's what I'm
Yeah.
hoping.
Yeah.
Please, not don't go for the dumb fat bitch thing. Make it a little, you
Yeah.
know,
Make it
don't go for
clever.
low hanging fruit. Yeah, something. Anyways, when it comes down to it, we're gonna get through this together. We're gonna get through this somehow. This too shall pass. It's already been a very, very, very long first year.
You put an extra
It
very
feels,
in there. I
it
noticed
feels
that.
like
Very,
a
very, very.
perpetual, like, whenever you're like it's a long week and it's only Tuesday. That's just what it fucking feels like. And no matter which side of the line you may fall on, the divide in this country is affecting all of us. Some of us have had friends, family ties severed, and for others it's much worse. And as bleak as things may seem, the country was founded on strong principles, and strong principles are what will continue to carry us through. And I just, we've mentioned in the past America that was after 9/11 when we all had each other's back. I want us to get back to that and
Agreed.
just put your differences aside. And when it comes down to it, just have your neighbor's back and just remember what we were founded on. We were founded on the separation of church and state. We were founded on freedom of speech. We were founded on principles that, like, you can defend yourself if somebody comes at you.
And guys, this
Like,
is the reason we were founded on this. Like,
yeah,
there's a huge reason that we were founded on these principles because our founders and their lived experience, they did go through persecution, religious and speech and otherwise. So
yeah,
of course, when they came up with this experiment of an idea of America, that was some of the first things they put down was
hmm,
freedom of speech, that speech is protected, and freedom of religion, and that
yeah,
that you can practice your religion in whatever way works for you, and that it's
yeah,
not nationalized, and it's not we don't have a state religion, or a national religion. There's a reason for that, and
yeah,
there's a reason we have freedom of speech, and violence is not the answer. Like, these are our rights.
yeah.
So them being met with violence, it just doesn't make sense, It doesn't make sense in a free land.
Yeah, absolutely. So try to lead with compassion and empathy. Try to approach others with understanding. The more we fight, the weaker we become. And above all else, think for yourself. Don't believe everything that you live from the deep trenches of, the internet. Maybe less connecting with politicians, more connecting with people. When it comes down to it, we are easier to control when we are divided. So try not to fight each other. And we need to not celebrate people being gunned down on college campuses, being
No,
killed
no,
in the
no, no.
street. Whenever officer smothers the life out of somebody, that's not good. Okay. They're not supposed to do that. There's excessive force. And if somebody is saying that they can't breathe, maybe listen to them, you know?
Yeah, also we have due process for a reason. It's not up to our police officers to be judge, jury, executioner out in the
Yeah.
streets. No,
Yeah.
that's why we have a
And
court of law.
And I can't
you
imagine
know?
the amount of stress that they are under. I really can't. So I
Yeah, I can hear
just,
you.
okay. I can't imagine what they're going through. And it's probably an insane amount of stress that people are shooting at them and hate them every single day. And I understand that. But if you can't find it within yourself to not kill people who are in trouble and they're fighting you, then you need to do something else. You need to find another
Yeah.
job because if you can't do the job properly, if you feel an immense amount of rage coming up, then you just need to find something else. It's just the job's not for you. The media is going to exploit, manipulate anything they can to get your undivided attention. They're going to say off the wall stuff to get you to click, to turn on the channel, to listen up, and they are manipulating every single person in this country. And whatever gets them more views is what they are going to say. And they are fear mongering and they're rage baiting.
Hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to disconnect from the media and reconnect with our communities. And that's it.
I agree. I
Yeah.
think that social media, if you really think about it, I don't think it was ever meant to connect you with political figures and every policy and every change. Like, I think social media, I mean, I'm off of it, thankfully,
Yeah.
right now. But I think social media was really put forward, at least I remember it. I mean, we were there at the start of it, remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a long time ago. But we were there for the beginning of it, and it was a way to connect with people that you couldn't normally connect with, like family that lived in another country or a friend that moved to another state when you guys were in 6th grade, and now you get to
Yeah.
find them and talk to them again. And I don't think it was meant to just be full of advertisements and political figures and media streaming networks, and like, no, that, I mean, bring it back to your family and friends again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, bring it back to that so that when you do access politics or the government or what's going on, you're choosing to go and access it. It's like, okay, now I'm going to go look up what's going on in the world, in the news, in my city or my state or whatever. Then
Mhm.
it's when you're ready to, and not just every time you open your phone it's coming at you. It's a
Yeah.
big problem, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it really is. Like, whenever you're opening yourself up to constant negativity, it drains you. It weighs you down.
And it can
It
brainwash
sucks,
you.
yeah, it sucks the life out of you. It really
Yeah.
does. And
Huh?
you have to disconnect. And I understand that we're sitting here recording a form of media for you
Sure.
to consume,
We're
and
hypocrites.
we're very well aware of that,
But we're aware
but
of it, yeah.
we're only going to post every other week, okay? So
Yeah, and
we're not going
it's
to
on
be
our
bombarding
website.
you.
Like,
Yeah.
you have to find us, babies. We're not coming
Yeah.
at you. You know what I
For
mean?
real. If you happen to stumble upon hearing us, I
You're not gonna get catch us like
yeah,
at
we're
6
not going to
p.m. on
try
the
to be up
news or
in your
anything.
ear holes, all right? So, yeah.
And I bet anybody that is listening, I bet they've already clipped off by now, right?
Like,
Probably.
what the fuck is this?
Well, this is bullshit. These two bitches just want an excuse to look at each other.
I mean, we yap at each other for hours on end. We might as well record it and see if anybody else wants to listen to
Might
us.
as well.
Anyways,
Right. And I
absolutely.
guess if I can, I think that a good message, like what you said, is yes, connect back with people you know face to face. Like, if you surround yourself with politics right now, I mean, you're going to be miserable because it's a miserable place right now, and has been for years, for as long as I can
Yeah,
remember, to be honest. I'm not saying don't pay attention, not at all. Please pay attention. Everyone needs to be informed
yeah,
of what's going on, but like, choose when that information comes your way. Don't let them choose
yeah,
that for you. You know what I mean? Like, I really think that's the piece. And I think that think for yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Don't take our word for it. Don't believe what we say. Like, go look at our resources and then decide for yourself. That's the whole
Yeah.
point. Like, read for yourself, think for yourself. Don't just see a snip of a headline that your buddy reposts on Facebook and run with it. Do your own research. Like,
Yeah.
really, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Feels like the people on the news right now, they're so far from being actual journalists. If you were to think about like the news from like whenever we were younger, the news people were respectable. It was them relaying information and then going on to the next thing and relaying information. And it's just bizarre to me that these news sources, they're
Hmm.
just people sitting there talking about something. And
Yeah,
so
like
it
they're
seems
just
very
pundits.
bizarre. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
I find that's very odd too because I do see a lot of people, where I think they are getting their news from like influencers.
Yeah. So
Well,
that is all I have for my notes.
I mean, that's really, I do have one little thing I want to add in because I did come across it whenever I was doing my research.
Yeah.
And it kind of brushed over a lot of early on stuff for like how he came into politics. But
Yeah.
it's okay because I want to just really, there's just one interesting story of that time in his life to me personally.
Hmm.
And it's back in the late 80s. Donald Trump had lost he was in a bidding war at an auction house.
Hmm.
And he wanted the piano to Casablanca. That was up for bid for
Hmm.
auction, the piano to Casablanca. But he lost that bid to a Japanese trading company. And then within 3 months took out a $95,000 ad talking about politics, talking about how Japan is taking opportunity away from Americans. And this ad is what got the attention of Mike Dunbar. And Mike Dunbar is who Donald Trump met in New Hampshire back in the late 80s and hosted his very first mock rally for politics. So I can't help but think that if he would have never lost his bid for the Casablanca piano, he would have never ran for president. Just
My
something to chew
God.
on.
Yeah, that is a tasty little nugget for sure.
I thought it was funny. So I guess we can talk to people about what we have going on. We have a Twitch account and we are going to meet
That's
live
right. Yes.
and we will it's next week, right?
Yes, absolutely. So
Okay.
we will post on our website all of the links. And
Yes.
our website is this just in and it's graham.com. And we will have show notes. We'll have our sources posted. We will have the recorded episode to be able to watch and also when and where we're going to be live.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and in our
Good
live, we
stuff.
would love to have people come in so we could talk about this, talk about why we think Donald Trump MAGA is a political cult, and a dangerous one at that, and
Hmm.
why you think it may also be or not be. Like
Yes.
we want to hear from everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Come try and change your mind. I mean,
Yeah,
I
please.
I would love nothing more than to talk to anyone about this. And in
Agreed.
a society that they're trying to divide us, we need to come together and we need to talk. And there's a lot going on, and we should just, as Americans, we need to be there for each other.
I agree. And what
Yeah.
better, safer way to do that than in the safety of your own home, you know?
Yeah.
Where we don't have to be on anywhere. It's not safe right now, honestly.
Hmm.
So join us from the comfort of your home when we go
Yes.
live. And like Amy said, all that information will be on our website.
Yep. All right. Thanks so much for following, and we'll
Thank
see you
you.
next time. Bye.
Bye.